The Philadelphia Eagles are angry. And on Sunday at the Linc, the New York Giants are about to feel every ounce of that rage. This isn't just another divisional matchup, this is personal. The Giants embarrassed the Eagles on Thursday Night Football just 3 weeks ago, 34-17, at MetLife Stadium, with a rookie quarterback making his first NFL start. Jaxson Dart walked into that building and put up career numbers, while the Eagles' defense looked absolutely lost. The entire country watched Philadelphia get humiliated on national television. But here's what makes Sunday different. Here's what changes everything. The Eagles are at home. They just dropped 34 points on the Minnesota Vikings, with Jalen looking like an MVP candidate. And the Giants, they just blew a 19-point fourth-quarter lead to the Broncos and lost by 1. So when I tell you this spread is Eagles minus 7.5, when I show you the player props and the total, you need to understand the context of what we're betting on here. This is the Philly Sports Truth Breakdown you've been waiting for. Let's get into it. First, we need to talk about what happened 3 weeks ago, because if you don't understand the Week 6 upset, you can't properly bet this rematch. October 3rd, Thursday Night Football, the Giants were 2-3 coming in, the Eagles were 3-1 and favored by 10.5 points on the road. And Jaxson Dart, this rookie quarterback out of Ole Miss, who the Giants took in the second round, he was making his first career start because Daniel Jones got benched after a brutal loss to the Seahawks. Nobody gave the Giants a chance. Nobody. And then Dart goes out there and throws for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. He adds 62 yards on the ground. He's escaping pressure, making throws downfield, and the Eagles' defense has no answer. Meanwhile, Jalen throws 2 interceptions. The offensive line gets dominated. Saquon Barkley, playing against his former team, gets held to 53 yards on 14 carries. Giants win 34-17, and it's not even that close. The game was over by the fourth quarter. And here's what nobody talks about. The Eagles were coming off a short week. Thursday night road game. Emotional revenge spot for the Giants with their rookie quarterback. Classic trap game setup, but the betting public didn't see it that way. 82% of the money was on the Eagles minus 10.5. Everyone thought it was free money. The Giants covered by 27.5 points. That's the game that's been haunting the Eagles for 3 weeks. That's the performance that has this entire team ready to make a statement on Sunday. So how did Philadelphia respond to that embarrassment? They went to Minnesota and destroyed the Vikings 34-28 in a game that wasn't as close as the score indicates. Jalen was surgical. 19 completions on 23 attempts, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 158.3 passer rating, 95.2 QBR. This is what looks like when he's locked in, when he's playing with something to prove. DeVonta had 8 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown was dominant even while dealing with injuries. The offensive line gave time, and the defense, after getting torched by Jaxson Dart, they held Sam Darnold to 246 yards and forced critical stops when it mattered. The Eagles are now 5-2, they're 2-1 at home, and they just showed the entire league what they're capable of when they execute. Meanwhile, the Giants followed up their upset win with a disaster against Denver. They were up 32-13 in the fourth quarter. 19-point lead with 1 quarter to go. And they collapsed. The Broncos scored 20 straight points. The Giants' offense couldn't get a first down. Jaxson Dart threw a crushing interception. Denver wins 33-32. That's the kind of loss that breaks a team. That's the kind of fourth-quarter meltdown that destroys confidence. So now the Giants come to Philadelphia with a 2-5 record. They're 0-4 on the road. They have 13 players on the injury report, including their starting left tackle, Andrew Thomas, who's on IR with a season-ending foot injury. This is a wounded team walking into the most hostile environment in football to face an Eagles squad that's been circling this game on the calendar for 3 weeks. Now let's talk about the number. Eagles minus 7.5. Giants plus 7.5. And here's where it gets interesting. The Eagles are 5-2, but they have not covered a 7-point spread this season. Not once. Look at their wins. 4 points over the Packers, 3 points over the Saints, 7 points over the Browns, 6 points over the Jaguars, 6 points over the Vikings. Every single Eagles win has been close. They're winning games, but they're not blowing teams out. They're 1-2 against the spread at home this season. The betting market has been overvaluing Philadelphia all year because of their name and their talent. Meanwhile, the Giants are 4-3 against the spread. They're 2-2 ATS on the road. They've been covering numbers even while losing games. So on paper, you look at Eagles -7.5 and you think, wait, the Eagles don't cover big spreads. The Giants cover as underdogs. This feels like a Giants +7.5 situation. But this is not a normal game. This is a revenge game with 3 weeks to prepare. This is the Eagles at home after getting humiliated on national television. This is Jalen Hurts coming off the best performance of his season. And most importantly, the Giants are broken after that Denver collapse. When you blow a 19-point fourth-quarter lead, you don't just bounce back the next week on the road against a motivated divisional opponent. The injury situation is critical here. The Eagles are dealing with some injuries. Cam Jurgens at center is questionable with a knee issue. Jalen Carter is questionable with a heel injury. Landon Dickerson is out at guard, but the Giants have 13 players on the injury report. Jaxson Dart is questionable. They don't have their starting left tackle. Brian Burns is banged up on defense. Here's my read. The Eagles win this game by double digits. I think they go up early, the home crowd is insane, and the Giants fold under the pressure. I'm taking Eagles -7.5 at +105. This line might move to 8 by kickoff, so if you like Philly, get it now. The revenge narrative is real. The Eagles are the better team. And they're going to make a statement. The total for this game is 43.5. Over is -105, under is -115. And this is where the betting gets tricky. In Week 6, these teams combined for 51 points. Eagles lost 34-17. The game went way over the total. Last week, the Eagles put up 34 on the Vikings. The week before, the Giants scored 32 on the Broncos before the collapse. So you'd think this game goes over, right? Both offenses can score. Both defenses have been getting torched. But here's the counter-argument. The Eagles' defense is going to be locked in after what happened in Week 6. They're not letting Jaxson Dart do that again. Vic Fangio has had 3 weeks to prepare. He's seen the tape. He knows how Dart beat them with his legs and extending plays. The Eagles are going to spy him all game, keep him in the pocket, and force him to beat them from there. And the Giants' defense, they're actually not terrible. They held the Eagles to 17 points in Week 6. Yes, they collapsed against Denver, but that was more about the offense failing to close than the defense getting dominated. The weather on Sunday is supposed to be perfect. No wind, no rain, mid-60s. So we can't use weather as a factor. Here's what I think happens. The Eagles score in the mid-20s, maybe 24 to 28 points. The Giants struggle to get to 17 or 20. Final score prediction, Eagles 31, Giants 17. That's 48 total points, which goes over, but it's close to the number. If the Giants' offense stalls and only scores 13 or 14, we could easily see Eagles 27, Giants 13 for 40 total, which stays under. The line is basically saying, do you think this game gets to 44 combined points or not? I'm leaning over 43.5 because I trust the Eagles' offense more than I trust the Giants' defense to stop them. Hurts is playing at an elite level. The weapons are healthy, the offensive line is dominant even with injuries, and I think the Giants get to at least 17 or 20 points through garbage time or one explosive drive where Dart makes plays with his legs. Give me the over 43.5 at -105. I think we get to 45 or 48 total points. Now let's talk player props, because this is where the value is hiding. Jalen Hurts passing yards, over under 204.5. Last week against Minnesota, Hurts threw for 326. The week before against Cleveland, he threw for 264. He's been airing it out. The Giants' secondary is banged up. The Eagles are going to attack downfield. I love Hurts over 204.5 passing yards. That's almost a lock. Jaxson Dart passing yards, over under 200.5. In Week 6 against these same Eagles, Dart threw for 298.